What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So one of the most anticipated shows of this entire year, the Yamamoto Cup or Italy Pro, that is underway as we speak. So easily one of the most exciting lineups that we have seen throughout this year. Because there just wasn't a clear-cut favorite, and that was based on that inconsistency of multiple guys. So that is why it was up for grabs, and a lot of guys could potentially win this show. So Quinton Beastwood arrived here in Italy after a 3 weeks of training camp with the reigning Olympia champion Samson Dauda. So this right here is easily his best conditioning that we have ever seen from him so far. The man is looking very detailed and just simply incredible front to back. And it seems like he has a nice combination of dryness and fullness this time. So this guy is one of the most beautiful bodies in the entire men's open right now. So we will see whether he's able to hold on to that fullness all throughout the prejudging and the finals too. Because that has been the biggest issue so far in both the shows that he just did, the Tampa Pro and Texas Pro. That being said, I must say he's gonna get exposed in a few shots again. For instance, the most muscular, the chest and the delts, they still look very smooth. And if you compare the depth and the detail in that particular shot to the likes of Mark Hector or Louis Breed or even Urs Shocks, they are just on a different level in terms of muscularity and detail and muscle maturity. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So Sergio Oliva Jr. was being considered one of the biggest title contenders for Yamamoto Cup 2025. And right from the beginning, you can just see he loses a lot of ground when it comes to his structure. Not the best. Now don't get me wrong, he's a big guy with a lot of muscle, but that waistline, that is gonna hurt him big time. Especially standing next to someone like Urs or Quinton, who are very aesthetic guys. And this change in the waistline, that is something that we see with many pros once they are over 40 years old. The biggest example that we have right now in the current bodybuilding, that is of William Bonac. Now, I do not think this is the best Sergio that we have ever seen. He's big and freaky in some shots, like the side chest, the most muscular, probably has the best arms, but the back shots once again, not being where they're supposed to be, just the way they were at both Tampa Pro and Texas Pro. This is gonna hurt him big time. Now, I do not know whether you guys can see it or not, but to me, his back once again is looking kind of shallow and is lacking a lot of density there. So we will see how it goes once they bring out all these guys for the callouts. So Mark Hector was one of the standouts in that initial impression. A lot of size, a lot of density, and a lot of thickness all over. So the first impression of Urs, that has already been uploaded in a separate video. You guys can check that out from the first comment down below. So now let's talk about the first call out at this year's Yamamoto Cup. We have Quinton, Urs Shocks, Sergio, Theo Legverrier, Mark Hector, Emir, and Matthias Holwick, and Louis Breed. And I have got to say that is a big first call out. Unfortunately, Tim Budisham, he did not make it into that first call out. So right from the beginning, Quinton and Urs in the middle. So Quinton has that structural advantage, but my god, look at the sweep on Urs's quads. Damn! Now Quinton obviously has the advantage of more width over all these other guys including Urs. And the detail on Quinton's side leg, that is looking so nasty. Paper thin skin and ripped to the bone. So this is where he really exposed all these guys. But when we're talking about Quinton's strengths, we should also highlight the strong points of Urs Shocks. Look at that size difference between the legs of Quinton and Urs. And also the overall back shot of Urs, that is looking insane. So kind of seems like Urs has more rounder and more filled out legs, front to back, compared to a guy like Quinton, who at this point seems to be his biggest rival here in this show. Now I have no idea who advised Quinton to hit that crab most muscular shot, because all that did was make him look even more vulnerable in that particular shot. So I don't think they were able to direct these guys, the organizers, enough to leave the space on the stage, because at one point, the guys just stopped posing and Urs looked really pissed off. So let me ask you guys something. Should Quinton be worried? Because they put Quinton out from the center stage and pulled Mark Hector in. So this could only mean two things. Either he's the clear winner of this year's Yamamoto Cup, or he has slid down to third place again, just the way he did for Texas Pro. So how crazy would it be if Urs is actually able to win his men's open bodybuilding debut? So a 3 times former Olympian and a 3 times pro winner, Theo Lagverrier, not even making in that top 6, that is just brutal. But the fact is, that has been the nature of competition throughout this year, and we have seen so many guys failing to qualify for the Olympia this year who have previously qualified multiple times. And same went for a guy like Emir here too, who also did not make into that top 6. Also Tim Budisham, he was unable to make it into that first call out. So during that final call out, Quinton was once again brought back into the middle. So this means they have Quinton and Urs probably fighting for the win tonight, because these were the two guys who spent the most time in the center stage. Now that being said, you simply cannot ignore the fact that a guy like Mark Hector, he was arguably the most muscular guy in this final call out, and there could have easily been a case for him to win this entire thing and qualify for the Olympia, and he probably would have won this show if only he had more separation and more detail in his lower half, in his legs, and that too front to back. And shout out to a guy like Louis Breed and also Matthias Holwick. So both these guys made it into the final call out of those 6 guys. And the fact that Louis was a guy who just went through a very tough accident, which by the way was career threatening, and to come back and present one of your best looks ever, that must be appreciated. So what do you guys think? Has Quinton Beastwood done enough to take home the win? I'm gonna say finally, after placing second for so many times and for so many years, and finally get his first pro win? Or is it gonna be a shocker for the entire bodybuilding world, and we're gonna see Urs Shocks winning his men's open debut and qualifying for the men's open Olympia on his first try? Because let's be real, Urs just shocked the entire bodybuilding world, and the man proved he belongs in the men's open bodybuilding. And the fact that this was just his first year trying to be an open bodybuilder, he's gonna be a dangerous man in the upcoming years. But let me know what you guys think. Who do you guys have winning here? And also hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.